Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of the new podcast, Mounted and Loaded, hosted by myself, Suzaku R6 on Twitter, Jacob Faberman, and my guests, my partners.
Hello everybody. I'm at Dripboolin. Dripboolin. Dripboolin.
I'm Phozzo at PhozzoJE on Twitter.
And welcome. Me and Yardy and I have been wanting to start a podcast for a long time now, talking about whatever it is, that you guys want to hear and what we want to talk about. There's a lot of podcasts here about Siege that, to be quite honest, just people who don't really know what's going on, people who, not that their opinions are bad, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. It's just, sometimes it's not the best information to be giving out to an audience. So we're going to try and help that and put a little more constructive information out there for you guys.
Yeah, pretty well said. I think out of all the podcasts, we have a more in-depth view. We all have played Challenger League, touched Pro League, sniffed it. Phozzo touched it. I touched it. But I think we know the ins and outs, and I think we can give that valuable insight that a lot of people really want to know.
We have, firsthand experiences. We talk to these players. We hang out with them. We get drunk with them. We talk to them. We know pretty much what's going on roster move-wise, about the game itself, too. Ubisoft, ESL, Pro League, all that jazz. And it just seems like a lot of people are just out there guessing and talking about this and that and not really having that concrete, this is why this is happening, or this is why this should happen. And that's just really what we're going to try and convey.
Yeah, well said. I think we should dive into the first subject here.
Phozzo, you want to start us off?
So we're going to talk about the NAPL split opinions. So I can start with mine. I kind of didn't expect TSM to be first. I expected them to be towards the top, but not at first overall. I had personally thought Reciprocity was going to have a lot more of a better season, first half, than what they have had. But I think everybody else, like SSG being in third, LG being towards the bottom end kind of surprised me as well, but Tempo Storm and EG towards the bottom everyone predicted was kind of accurate. I didn't see them going anywhere really because of how hard they've been struggling lately. United, it's kind of a biased opinion of mine since that's my old team, but I think they've been playing how they should. They should be playing a lot better, but with what they have right now, and Reed playing for the first half, since he's not Alfama, he's not their actual fifth. They did as good as they could, and then DZ as well. DZ.
Yeah, honestly, I was surprised. I had, for my top three, I definitely had TSM, DZ, and Reciprocity. I didn't know that this whole Knicks thing would have affected them this negatively. If you look at their attack win percentages, it's just terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But their defenses are phenomenal. The best defensive team in NA, and it's just so confusing to watch because I know all these players and we know these players and we know what they do, and it's you wouldn't think of them five together being a super dominant team, but I think it's gonna work out. The only thing is I gotta give a quick shout out to Retro. He has the hardest job in all of NA right now, playing support for that team. Just that's something that I always laugh about, watching them play and knowing that all these guys are fraggers, solo players and flex ops and stuff like that. It's just funny, and I hope he gets the appreciation he deserves. At least I know there's a lot of
and I don't even think Retro's a support player to be. I think he's
right, 100%,
a flex player with them too, and I think he got kind of forced under the role because he kind of fits a little bit better than let's say
the rest of them, yeah.
Let's say the Vertical or Laxing. You don't see them playing in more support oriented role. You see them playing in more solo role, getting the kills they need to get. For example, Waxing always just hitting it from the back, I guess you could say, and always getting the scrap up kills. Yeah, the 2 kills when they hit the other side of the map and end up winning the round. But you don't see Waxing opening the wall and playing the bomb every single time that he gets a chance to.
100%.
So I think Retro flies underneath the radar, doesn't get the respect he deserves, and I hope he does perform a little bit better in the next split. But then again, you can't really blame him for being negative 14 because he has 10 plants. So he's doing his
He's doing
job.
his job exactly.
Yeah.
And for me, I definitely didn't think TSM would be number one. I thought they would. I had DZ and Rec at 1 and 2. Rec got second last season, and I mean, if you look at just a roster, Nixon Online Beast for Mark, and then Vert for Skies, like you think it's a pretty fair swap. You think they would improve,
Right. Or keep that
they're
speed the same. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely flatlined. They got mopped by TSM week 1, 7-2, and that kind of showed TSM's true power. I also didn't have EG in 8th. I thought they'd be more towards the middle. I thought they would be, them and SSG would be 4 or 5, no order, just flipping. SSG always in the middle of the pack, and didn't really think that would change. And it's kind of showing it, they're still going to be there. It's just kind of the fact that 6, 7, 8, and NA are so far behind right now. But yeah, I definitely didn't have EG in 8th. Definitely stuck up for them because, as you remember, when Gotcha filled in with them in the previous
He's
season,
undefeated for a while.
they dominated. And, it's like Geo is a huge part of the team, but it's like, Mo Dig is a straight murderer, like, and so is Gotcha up until this season. And now you look at them and they're just like, it's embarrassing to watch to think that 3 of those guys were at, runner-ups at 2 consecutive majors.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's like,
previous world champions.
You like it's something that's like, oh, they lost Geo, they'll still be 3rd, 4th, and they're
like
just.
I think like a big thing about that too is like what happened for them to fall off that hard. Like on paper, they should be an amazing team. Like with them adding Spades, I think that will like boost.
Oh yeah, it can't possibly get worse. It can't possibly get worse. So
yeah, like on paper they should be a top 5 team, but like obviously they're 8th place and they're not doing too hot. So like why? Like what?
Those inside workings.
What happened? Like what happened for them to do that? Like MBK, Necrox, and Young all being what a top 3 international team for years, and then now they get into pro league the season of pro league with like new teams and like new players, and they just kind of like fall off. So like, is it because like the meta's changing and they're not adapting too well, or are people just getting better and they can't compete against it? Like, I don't know what it is, but I hope they figure it out. I think
so. I mean, my first guess would be, and EG is probably one of the few teams I really don't have anybody I talk to on that team.
Same.
Even though I did team with Maze and Mo, but just from an outside point looking in, if you're NVK, Necrox, and Young, you've come so close so many times to a trophy. You second at a DreamHack, second at back-to-back majors. It's like you lost Geo, who was arguably the best player in North America, and you lost Canadian, who was the face of North American Siege. Are you really going to get back to that level? Modiga's good, Spades is good, Gotcha's like, they're all right players, but
they're
it's
good,
like,
but you got to make them great. They got to make them great, and it's like,
yeah,
we don't know the inner workings of EG. I don't talk to them a lot really. But it's like, I think the Canadian move was good because they were kind of like flatlining, but they didn't capitalize on the new talent that they got. They didn't, not that they didn't do good with Geo. They made the lands and stuff, but it was like they weren't improving at all. I don't know what it is that they have to work on, that they have to fix. I think getting rid of Gotcha is going to be really good for them too. But once again, like that split was what, a month and 2 weeks. Like you don't have a lot of time. They lost a bunch with Gotcha. Like, well, shit, we got to fix this. But they don't have time to find a new guy. They literally got Spades at last play day. It's like now they have this little break for Invitational. They can come back, and hopefully they'll come back pretty strong. And like, I want to say I'm disappointed in Luminosity. Like, Rexon had his first season of Pro League. He had the best half of Pro League any player has ever had. Like, insane. And it's like, we're missing that, dominance from them. It's like each game, it's like one of them does really well. It's just kind of like, who's going to do well today? And that's their problem. I think they should be top 4, honestly. I don't know what's going on. They also need to get their shit together. I don't know what it is. I think they will because they got Slash now. But even with him, even they had him, it's just like, okay, like you guys got to like.
I think they're
get the ball rolling.
They're showing that they're
inexperience.
They're inexperienced, and they're also showing that they can be a good team at the same time. Like, but the inexperience is more showing
more. Yeah,
the
definitely.
other half. Yeah, because if you think about it, Doodle, Hyena, Factor, and Rexon, this is like their only this is second season pretty much, if you're not including Factor because he played in Challenger League.
Yeah.
They don't know. Their first season was challenge. Like their first ever like real season was when they competed Challenger League for 92 Dream Team, but like that was kind of like a walk in the park for them towards the beginning. They fell off. They got fourth, and then they made that miraculous run in playoffs, and they made Pro League. So like the inexperience shows, but I also think they should be top 4 from how good they should be.
And just knowing them.
Obviously, something's not working, and I don't think they need a roster change. I think they just need. I don't know what they need, but they just need something that's like a major kick in the ass.
So, everything I'm about to say about LG is out of love because I love Doodle, Rexen, and Hyena, but you know I talk to Hyena after every game. They look terrible right now. You know, they played Rec and DZ in the same week, and they had a week where they won 2 rounds. I mean, that's actually pathetic. Yeah, that's just embarrassing. And I think their issue comes down to confidence. They switch roles way too much.
That's the thing. Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking.
Every game, someone's on different person's on Thatcher, different person's on Buck, different person.
Now it used to be Hyena, and you know, Doodle's kind of been struggling this last season. And I want everybody that shit talks Doodle. I want everybody on Reddit to hear me. I teamed with Doodle for a season. He's the best player on that team, and he needs to be on that like kind of like rat roll on defense, that Legion, that flex op, and on attack he needs to be on that flex op, and he's on top of that he's the IGL. Definitely 100% the best player on that team. Terrible season. I was actually just it went -30 last season, and that's pathetic for a player of his caliber because I expect him to be +30.
Right.
And they definitely need to turn it around. I think they can. A roster change may or may not help them. I think they're going to keep their team going into next split, but definitely if they keep up this abysmal performance, there will be some new faces next season.
Yeah, and like, I don't know if like this whole team house thing is helping these guys or hurting these guys, but it's just not looking good right now. Whatever it is they're doing, they need to change.
Yeah,
100%.
Well, now that we're on the topic of like each team individually, let's talk about Tempo Storm. Are they ready for Pro League? Are they still ready for Challenger League? Like, because if you look at all the teams that are in Pro League and you look at Tempo Storm, you're like, okay, well, I don't know about them. Like, was dropping Tilted the right move? Should they have dropped somebody else? Should they have changed roles first before dropping anybody? What do you guys think about that?
I definitely think the Tempo Storm had the tools to not be 7th or 8th. I think it came down to selfishness in the team. Being that I talked to a bunch of their players every day, definitely the biggest issue was the roles. Their best aimer is Tim, and at USN they had, or Tim is creators, call him Tim, and at USN creators is on Thermite, and
everyone's
that
like, what
doesn't
the hell? Yeah,
exactly. You have your straight murder on Thermite, and then the Thermite player needs to be crazy, 100%. At USN we saw glimpses of greatness from Dream on entry. Pro League season starts, he's on Thermite. Crazy's on Zofia, and it's just the roles are definitely not working out there. I definitely think it should have been Filthy and Dream and creators on entry, Filthy Butters kind of on the flex, and Crazy on the breach. And now it's too late. Now who the hell knows who their 5th is? Probably gonna go someone EU, maybe not. Rumors are an ex-pro and NA, but that being said, it's kind of hard to replace a Thermite, or kind of hard to replace that like flex role. But yeah, I mean,
and it depends what they're looking for. It depends, like, is Crazy going to move to that breach? Are they going to get another flex, or is he going to stay on that entry flex and they're going to get a breach? It's like, I don't know what they're going to do. All I know is like you do too. I talk to Tempo guys too a lot. I play with Filthy and Dream at the workshop. They're super cool guys. They did swap roles, like way before, so they gave him a chance. They gave everyone a chance. It just wasn't working. It was a combination. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. No, it's a combination of the roles and some other internal stuff, some attitude stuff, some egos clashing, whatever it is. So it's like, from the outside looking in, it's like, wow, like they dropped Filthy. What the hell, man? But it's like this whole last 2.5 months, they have been struggling. And they're making too much money, and they're putting too much time into it to be struggling this bad. And I agree. Exactly. Like you said, Phozzo, or you said, Drip, they have the means to be that top 4 team, to be that good LAN team. But all they've done so far is lose to the Sonics 3 times, and that's what they're known for. right? It's like every time you hear about Tempo Storm, it's Seth making fun of them or Seth making fun of Crazy, and it's just like
think about their CL performance they had this past season.
they
got
tied
second
7
place.
times.
They tied 7 times. They got second place. Kind of luck. They got kind of luckily. Like they didn't really deserve second place, but they ended up getting it. But like they didn't really like.
Well, not they
like,
didn't
for
deserve
example,
it.
like,
If you're
my
there,
team,
if
like,
you're
Obey,
there, you deserve it, right? You guys won the whole league. You deserved it.
Yeah.
So
And we won the relegations or whatever, yada yada yada. But like they won it on like a round differential. Like did they deserve this spot? Did they get lucky and they just kind of like capitalized on their luck and beat Rogue 2-0 or 2-1, whatever it was? But like the real question is like, what happened from them really winning relegations
to now?
To now, why are they struggling so hard when they looked good in relegations?
Exactly,
like,
they look hot.
I mean, Rogue wasn't a bad team on paper, but like obviously we all knew
they were just on their way out.
They had their struggles, they had like their differences or whatever it may be, but like Rogue's a good team, and like people were like, oh, they suck now, they're in relegations, but like no, they're still really good.
All those guys are on pro league teams right now, except for Brian.
Yeah,
and easily,
which is just
and easily.
But Sonic's pro league, whatever. But yeah, like Two-Face, they did well in Challenger League. Got picked up by Tempo Storm, and right when they got picked up by Tempo Storm, they kind of like.
I mean, it's a different ball game. It's a different ball game. It's not NA is not like EU where you can take the top 4 Challenger League teams, replace them with 4 Pro League teams, and it would still be competitive. There's maybe one team that comes out of Challenger League that makes an impact in Pro League, and it's like it's been that way. I've been following this game for how fucking long, and it's been that way every single time. And that's not to say like, you know, our 2-2 players are bad.
You don't see a CL team coming to PL and winning PL.
Like
they always end up being like 6th or 7th. They play relegations. They either win the relegations or they lose and go back to Challenger League. But you don't ever see them getting top 2 or top 3.
Like Navi or Empire, both of them.
Exactly.
You know, coming out those seasons, they came into Pro League and winning Pro League. Like,
yeah, and I think that can be contributed to the fact that NA Challenger League is a farm system. It's literally the minor leagues in some ways. Sure, you have your teams that go through, but you also have teams like OC that fell short, and Merc and Fultz are now 1 and 2 in NA. And if I had my opinion, I think that if on 92, if we lost to OC, NA Pro League looks completely different now. You're essentially missing the 2 best because OC would have made Pro League. You don't have
auto qualify.
Yeah. So you don't have Fultz on SSG going plus 40. You don't have Merc on TSM going plus 35 at DreamHack and plus 40 in Pro League. Like, I think that just everything is shaken up by teams just picking up players from 3 and 4 seed CL teams, which is what EG did. They picked up Mo and Spades, who come from a 3rd or 4th seed CL team that couldn't quite make Pro League as a unit, but they're there
separate there. Yeah, it works a little bit better. Yeah. Now, like every team, you know, the inside workings, like we don't even know if Fultz and Merc, if they made Pro League on OC, like would it be the same? Probably not. They both wouldn't be plus 50. They could have very well struggled through that season because it's just like it's a whole different ball game. But it's like in EU, you don't really see that. You see these teams come up and they're ready to go. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the preparation. I don't know if it's the time they put into the game. It's just like for someone like me and for someone like you guys, I know you already goes to school. I don't know if you work, Phozzo. Do you work?
I do not work, but I go to school. So.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. I work, you guys go to school, and it's like you have shit to do. You have shit you need to get done, and it's like I'm sure these EU guys are doing it too, but they're just better at balancing it. You know, they're putting in their dry runs, they're putting in their scrimming.
Look at Meepy. He plays professionally and he still works. I'm pretty sure he still works. He's like, he always like takes a train somewhere, but I don't know what he's doing. But he has like this busy schedule and.
Team Secret's one of the best teams in the world.
Look at him internationally. They're a top 8 team internationally. Yeah, they fell short with the invite quals, but maybe they should have got the invite. And if they got the invite, they probably would do really well at invite. Look at them at where were they at? Raleigh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't take a NACL team currently or from that last season and put them in Raleigh and make it as far as Team Secret did. I'm sorry, like you just can't.
If my team Obey was put in an international event, we would have gotten first rounded.
Yeah, I mean that's just how it is.
Like it's just like how it is for NA. Like you for example, now E United, they're middle of the pack, they're 5th place, and like maybe if Ab and I were still there, we could have maybe gotten fourth, but like, or we could have gotten lucky. But I didn't see us getting top two in NA in the first split. I
Yep.
saw us getting fifth through eighth, like, which is just like it sucks to be realistic about that, but like we're not better than TSM. We may think that we are, but like when it comes to like,
I mean, you have
actual
to have
game
confidence
time,
and you have to think you're going to,
yeah.
but actually, what's
But like
actually
you
going to
have to
happen
like
is
you have to like actually look at like
look at it
the pros and cons of
realistically.
it. Like,
Yeah,
okay, are we better than TSM? Probably not. Could we beat them? Yeah, maybe. We could maybe
it's a
tie with
best
them,
of
but
one.
I
It's
don't.
a best of one. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe we show up a little bit better than them that day. But I I just don't see a team like Obey or Tempo Storm going top two and any or E United, sorry, in Pro League for at least 2 more seasons.
Yeah, I actually, contrary to what you said, Fozo, I thought E United was going to do way worse than what they're doing now. They're 2-2-3 right now.
100%, 100%. I
I
agree with
I
that.
thought they had a very good half. So they had the circumstance of playing with Reed. Nothing against Reed, but Alphama was, there. It's like G2 a crying. Like Reed isn't their first choice, as is crying, and
They
you
want their
thought they'd
first
be,
choice.
yeah, and
And props to Reed too. Reed
yeah,
did
Reed
really
played.
well for his first actual like PL
Yeah,
split. Like, he
I teamed with Reed on DG, and let me tell you, he definitely blew me out of the. Definitely, I was a Reed doubter. I'll be the first to admit. I didn't think he'd be as. I mean, I always knew he's a good player, but I didn't think he'd be. For the first 4 or 5 games in Pro League, he's number 1 in North America.
10, 12, 16 kills,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, okay.
And I'm not. And a lot of people thought that, and he definitely shut me up. And I think he does have a bright future as a player. Definitely the pickup of Yeti and Alphama was very questioning. I definitely don't agree with it at all. Yeti and another person I've teamed with. My thoughts on Yeti are he's a incredible player, probably the most mechanically talented player I've ever played with, and I've played with Fultz and Merc and everybody on LG. He's a great player. I think he is his own worst enemy at times.
I've heard similar things.
And I think he'd fit in real well with E Unite because Call Out. Again, Call Out's another one Reddit hates, but Call Out is the backbone of that team.
Yeah, I have a lot of bias towards that team because obviously that was like my team for almost a year.
Right.
But like if Call It wasn't on that team, that team wouldn't
Would not be
where they
where it
are.
was,
It's absolutely incredible how hard that kid works, and like his stats don't show how good of a player he actually is. Yes, he may not be the best support player like skill wise, but like everything he does out of game and like what he does in game to control around it's honestly very impressive. And I can wholeheartedly say that if he wasn't on that team, Forrest wouldn't be doing what he's doing, Grixer wouldn't be doing what he's doing, Yeti wouldn't even know what to do. He it's honestly super impressive on how good Call actually is with a brain.
I honestly go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, if Dry Run GG and IGL GG was a thing instead of CGG, Call Out would be hailed as definitely a top player.
And I was gonna add, like, I myself live and die by like not listening to the stats and not looking at the stats. Like, obviously, someone goes -70, they're doing bad, like that guy in Brazil, but he's actually still in Pro League somehow. He did go -70. I don't know if y'all saw that, but
yeah, Zion on Elevate.
Oh my god.
The thing is like
I didn't see that.
There's so much more to what goes into this game than what we see and what CGG prints out. Even Seth's stats, those stats that he did, like the extremely important stuff, right? Anything mechanically or in the game you can work on. You can't work on chemistry. You can't work on being friends with these people. You can't you can't work on like your mental state. So it's like that is super important. Like, I know right now, like TSM, their practice is amazing. Their mental capacity right now is amazing. They're all, they're enjoying every single fucking moment of this. And it's like, you can tell when teams are struggling, it's not just because people are playing bad. It's the mentality, it's the attitudes, it's the egos, it's everything. And it's like, when you see teams like TSM go to the top, you know that all of those things are going good for them. You know what I mean? It's like you can just tell.
Going back to like what Obey had, because like it's like the best thing I compare to. Like that team when we were in Challenger League, all we did was play each other. Like even Yardy can't attest to this, or Trip, sorry. Like we were always together. We would always play. Like our chemistry was there. And then like you look at them bringing in Yeti and then Alfama, who's completely new to the region as a whole. he doesn't know. He probably knows people in NA, but he doesn't like talk to them on a day-to-day
And you
basis.
can't
Like
force that stuff.
that
You can't
whole entire
exactly
atmosphere is going to change, and they're going to like try and do what they did before with the two people that they had, me and Abinai, and it's not going to work. So they're going to start scrambling. They're going to start doing things they shouldn't be doing, and they're going to start playing worse
differently
and getting upset because it's not what they had. And
Yeah.
you can't change that. Like
or you know, or they
make-
do something different and it works out. You know, it's
yeah.
just like it's just the whole environment like that. That's the to me that's the most important part. Because like Rogue, like we were talking about, right? Like good team, good players, but it was the environment.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what drove them to the
clashing
ground.
egos.
That's literally what drove them to the ground. And like those guys are all my friends. They're still all my friends. Like everyone, I have friends on pretty much every single team, like we said earlier, except EG. And like I know what goes on, like physically, mentally, in game, out of game. It's like it's just a whole nother world that people just watching a podcast about, you know, so and so talking about this or looking at the CGG stats, like you just wouldn't understand.
But like until you actually know what's going on, the stats mean absolutely nothing. Someone could be going -50, but they could be making the biggest impact on the round with the droning, with the calls they make. Yeah, someone could die 10 times in a game, but what if they get the bomb down over half of the time?
Yeah.
Like they get the bomb down. That a post plant situation, you're normally going to win the post plant if you're on the attacking team, unless something crazy happens and they do this crazy retake. Which yes, it can happen, but like the likelihood of it ever happening is super low. So like when they see like Canadian going -20, like oh wow, Canadian sucks. No, he doesn't suck.
Space Station's top 3, and they're going to do really good at LAN. Exactly.
He's in a completely different role now. He's doing things that he's never done. He's always the entry, but like now that he has Fultz, Rampy, Bosco, Thinking Nade, he can step back and do things that he's not used to doing, like playing the bomb, making more calls. He's always in the IGL, but he was never a support IGL.
Right.
And maybe this is where he fits best. Like his main operators were Thermite and Castle. Do you blame the guy for going -20? Castle sucks.
No, of course not.
Like you know, so like,
and they even on defense they let him, you know, they let him play Jaeger, they let him play
Mozzie, let him run around.
Mozzie, and let him do shit like that. And it's like he has his impact. You can tell. I mean, they're winning games, they're tying games. They're
same with Retro. Retro has
they're USN champs.
Has the hardest role in all of Pro League, and he's still doing semi decent -14. Which is common for a support player, but everyone thinks
100%.
that's so bad because
like, oh, they gotta get rid of Retro, this and that.
Team is positive. Like, no, that's not always the case. Like, yeah, it could be a case sometimes, but in this instance, not really. But
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a pretty good discussion about the current first half of Pro League. I think we should move into our invitational groups that we want to talk about as well. Let me pull it up right here. So, what do you guys think? Let's start with Group A.
I'll start with Group A. I think speaking for everybody on the planet Earth and within the
if you don't know who the groups are, Group A is Team Empire, Dark Zero,
cool.
FaZe Clan, and Fnatic.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you know, speaking on behalf of everybody on Earth, Empire will definitely make it out. I'm pretty confident in that. They play Fnatic first. Dark Zero plays FaZe first. But my second team to make it out, I'm gonna pick Fnatic here.
Really?
Yeah.
When he said this the other day in our group chat that we have, everyone was pretty shocked about it too. But
let's hear. Okay, let's hear the description.
FaZe has come to North America to boot camp. Word on the street from people, reliable sources, their scrims have been going rough. FaZe plays Dark Zero first. I think Dark Zero will come out on top. Fnatic will then knock out FaZe. I think Fnatic's pretty good. They have 2 new players compared to the last major. They have Mentalist playing with them and Tex. Tex has never played on an international stage. He was on Sin in the APAC region, or the ANZ.
So that could work against them.
Yeah. Like, just in terms of a worldview, and this is not to diss Tex, obviously a great player. He's on Fnatic. He's a random. I mean, you know, Mentalist is a very well-known player in APAC, one of the
decorated,
probably the face of Aerowolf. Yeah, for sure, the most decorated player in the non-ANZ region, for sure. And I think Tex is either going to show up big and really make a name for himself,
or not at all,
or make my prediction look bad. But then again, Fnatic has Virtue, who, in my opinion, is the greatest fragger outside of EU.
I think if anyone in NA was looking for a fragger, that
Virtue.
they should have definitely hit him up, and they should have definitely offered to bring him
And
over here.
and there were rumors of that after Raleigh. The teams did offer him.
Yeah.
To bring him over here, yeah.
Yeah. But those are my two. Phozzo, what do you
For
think?
coming out, yeah.
Obviously Empire, they're like human like
Cyborgs.
robots, they're nasty. And like the second spot can go to pretty much anyone. Like I agree, I don't see FaZe coming out of the group A, but I do see Dark Zero coming out or Fnatic, depending on how Fnatic plays again. Maybe Fnatic beats Empire. We don't know, but
Maybe.
I do see Empire and Dark Zero coming out of group A, and with Fnatic coming up really, really close.
I mean, you never know, because remember in Raleigh groups, TSM took a map off Empire. Like,
Yeah.
and that TSM
exactly.
wasn't the TSM we have now. No one knew. Everyone was like, wow, like really, what the fuck? Like that happened?
Well, if you look at it too, Fnatic, no one really has any new VODs with Fnatic with
Yeah,
Mentalist
with-
and Tex.
and
Well, they
it's-
have Pro League, but like everything
that's
changes.
that's
Pro
the
League.
way
They're
I
not
can
even showing
see
everything.
them. That's the way I can see them beating DZ. So
It's
I
awesome.
had Empire and DZ making it out because I also heard about the FaZe scrim struggles, and I also know that Fnatic has a new team, but like I am a stickler for DZ getting out because they are they are the best prep team in the fucking
Oh my
all of
God.
Pro League. So
Fucking
they've had this group. They've calculated all the possible combinations of maps and who they're playing, this and that. If they win, they lose. I think that they can take this group first. I honestly think they can. I think they can take this group out of it first and not second place, just because they've had all this time to get ready for this, and they're working 7 hours a day. They're playing the game. They're doing this and that. They have this new NA powerhouse team, I'll call it. But it's like it looked bad at USN, but it came back during Pro League time. But obviously it best of one at the same thing. But I honestly think Dark Zero can come out on top and Empire second. That's what I think. And it sucks because I know that Dark Zero can do it, but then once they get to the main stage and they have 4 hours to prep for the team, the play is not going to be the same. It slows down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I see them coming out on top.
Now into Group B. So Group B is Navi, Rogue, TSM, and SSG. What do you guys
Holy
think?
shit. This one is it's impossible
That's
to predict.
that's a rough group right there.
It definitely is impossible to predict. I think so first matchups are Navi SSG, Rogue TSM. I mean, you can't discount anybody. You can make a justification for anybody in this group getting first and second. However, I think the two teams coming out on top are TSM and Navi. I just don't see the reigning Pro League champion really coming up short. But then again, I've heard some inside information about Navi having their own struggles too.
I mean, they've been talking about it.
TSM
They've been talking about it, on the timeline
publicly,
too. They've been talking about it publicly. They've been struggling, and they're kind of getting it back. But once again, like best of one Pro Leagues, online Pro League is not going to tell you
have
how
to
you're
play
going to
perfect
perform.
Siege and
Exactly.
win it.
Yep.
Mhm.
And TSM is at an all-time high. I feel like TSM has everything to lose, so I feel like their backs are kind of against the wall. But I think they'll come out on top.
The expectations are high for them right now, 100%.
I mean, I'm just not a fan of the SSG hype. I'll be the first to say it. I think SSG is a solid team, but I mean, maybe they'll prove me wrong. I don't think they have what it takes to win it all. I think they're very good, but their group is tough and it'll push them to the limits, and maybe they will prove me wrong. But I mean, Rogue is first in EE right now. Rogue is a solid team. Rogue has very experienced, murderers.
And
on
it's
their
about
team.
time they don't get first rounded. So if
Yeah.
there's any event to not get first rounded, it's this one.
It's Invite. In
It's-
New Org, I mean, they're everything. They have
Everything
to
going
gain
for
from
them.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's like SSG. I personally, last invite, SSG versus G2 was probably one of my favorite matches of all Siege history to watch. And I mean, I guess it was because I was there live, and it was just like my eyes were glued to that fucking screen because it was such a good match.
Yeah.
And I pray we get to see that again. And I think if they beat G2 there, they would have won the whole thing. And that's the quarterfinal match. But it's like you said, I'm not behind the hype. I'm not behind the USN champions. I'm not behind all this. It's like they got to come out hot because this group is it's so punishing. It's like
Yeah.
when I saw them draw it, I was like, holy shit! Like this is gonna be rough for
How
all of them.
unfair.
Almost unfair, literally almost unfair.
See, now I see TSM and Rogue coming out because I just don't see Navi doing well with Pi. Yeah, Pi played pretty
They won
well
Pro
at
League.
at the Pro League finals, but then again, Doki was there to get them there.
Yeah, 100%.
Doki was a big part, but then again they also won Pro League season finals,
But it's like it's one
so
of
it's
those
kind of like
like
that toss up
it's
too.
one of those honeymoon things. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
they don't know what
exactly.
he's doing. They don't know this. They don't know the inner workings. They don't know they don't have VODs. Now they do. They have a whole season of Pro League. They have that whole Pro League finals. So these teams are going to be prepping. You know what I mean? It's
And
just
I just
like
don't see
he's not going to
I
have the
don't
same
see
effect
SSG coming
exactly.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just don't see SSG coming out at all. I think they're a great team. They deserve to be an invite, but I just don't see them coming out of this group in particular. If they were in a different group, maybe, but this group is just hell. Like
yeah,
that's the worst group you could ever want to be in.
So I
But then again,
100%. Okay, go
I could
ahead.
see TSM not making it out because they have so much to lose, and that pressure might just build up, and they'll just choke. But I don't see that. I don't see that happening. But
It
that's
could.
just
Anything could happen.
it could,
Yeah.
and yeah, and it could happen.
I think Rogue is 100% making it out, and I think that it's either TSM or SSG. I think if TSM overcomes like this whole back against the wall thing, they're gonna come out first. If they don't, then Rogue will be first and SSG will come out. That's I know
Mhm.
it's like it's just this group is just so difficult to
Predict. Yeah.
predict.
yeah. And just to cap it all off, just pointing at Group B, you have arguably the 4 best fraggers in the world in one group right now. You have Fultz, Merc, Aces, and Citizen all in one group. So
It's gonna be
definitely
fun to
going to be
watch.
interesting.
Gonna be fun to
Yeah,
watch.
for sure.
All
Will be
right,
fun to see who shows up.
Group
Yeah.
C.
Which
Latin
is
America.
Giants, NIP, Liquid, and MIBR. So you have 3 of the 4 Latin American teams in one group. Thoughts about that one?
I think that's like kind of unfair. I mean, I know like the way they made the whole groups in general is just stupid. Um, I think Empire and G2 definitely should have been in the same group, just because like you're the invited team. You should be playing the best teams, but whatever. Uh, Putting 3 Brazilian teams in the same group is kind of meh, also. But I think like personally, I don't see the Giants coming out. They lost Mentalistic. They were previously Aerowolf. I don't know. We just don't know enough about them. I think that Liquid is a super strong team, and I think that NIP is a good team. I've heard MIBR. I have friends that have scrimmed them. They're here for boot camping as well. That they are getting absolutely slaughtered.
Yep.
So
I heard that too. Yeah.
and I don't, it is scrims, right? It doesn't correlate exactly to game day, but it's like it's not like they were close matches. Like they were legitimately getting fucking slaughtered. So I don't see MIBR coming out. I see Liquid and NIP personally, in my opinion.
See, with Giants, like I'm a big fan of the Giants gaming roster. Like Speakeasy is absolutely fucking nasty. Like watching that kid play at the APAC finals
Yeah.
and the Pro League finals, he's just absolutely nuts. But I don't see them coming out. I see Liquid and NIP making it out, which sucks for MIBR because they're playing the 2 other Latin American teams
That they've been
are in
playing all
in the group.
season. That they
Yeah,
play
they've
in
been playing.
BR6, and it's like, it's just wow. It's gonna be an
It's
interesting.
it's just unfortunate, is what it is. You
Yeah.
can't change anything now. But hey, maybe Giants will come out hot because they have literally nothing to lose. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
if people are expecting them to not make it out of the group, so maybe they'll come in, swing, and go 2-0, make it to the group, make it to playoffs, and then they just lose in the quarterfinals and get first rounded in
Yeah.
the losers round 1. But they made it out of groups if they do that, so that's good for them at
An
least.
accomplishment nonetheless.
I definitely think Liquid's a surefire bet to get out of this group. I think everybody agrees on that. MIBR is the surefire first one out. To touch on what you said, Zaku, they have been getting mopped in scrims in North America. They've just been getting bodied. They've been here for a while too. I think they've been boot camping in LA for probably at least 3 weeks.
Holy shit.
Maybe game day is going to be different, but people are sleeping on Giants. I mean, they lost Mentalist, but they have an up-and-comer on their team, Jordan, who's been with them. He just turned 18.
He
Let's
was their
not for-
coach.
Yeah, let's not forget, speaking of coach, they have Gig on their team. Gig just...
That's true too. He knows
Gig.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, Gig's a...
Previous Pro League
Really?
champion. Yeah.
Yeah, literally won Pro League last season. So I think he's going to guide him in the right direction. And touch on what Phozzo said, Speakeasy is definitely the best player you've probably never heard of. Going back to Pro League finals in Japan, they were playing Giants on Cafe and back when they were Aerowolf, and he was in a 1v3 and just it was so well, and he lost it, but it was just so well played, incredible mechanical skill. Definitely a player to watch out for. True beast. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Liquid and Giants making it out. Although
Okay.
part of me wants to say Nip, but Giants is my final bet.
All right. I mean, it's just predictions, so
Yeah.
not like we're
Yeah.
putting money down on it.
Or
I
maybe.
think if any of the APAC
I probably
teams
will,
could make
so-
it out, I think it's Giants. Out of every
Yeah.
single APAC team here, like I don't think Fnatic can make it out, and I don't think Wildcard either, which is what we're going to talk about right now.
Yeah, so that brings us on to Group D, which is Reciprocity, Wildcard, BDS, and G2. It's a pretty average group,
Yeah.
I think, with the exception of G2, obviously being the previous world champions.
I mean, they have Sir Boss now. Like we just don't know what's going to happen. Either they're going to dominate or be mediocre.
I don't see Wildcard making it out at all. I see them getting absolutely slaughtered. From what I heard,
They've been having rough scrims.
they've been having rough scrims as well. Maybe because they're not an international team. The only person that's been international is Neo Fighter, who was
Well, they
previously at Fnatic.
played a Pro League finals.
They did. And they almost
that's
upset.
right.
They
They
almost
did.
upset. Yeah.
That's right.
One round away
And
But that's like their first true
showing.
taste
And it was a
of
good showing.
international play.
it was. And if
So
you
maybe
know,
they're still adjusting. I don't know, but hopefully they do well. But I don't see them making it out.
I think they're a good team. I do, but it's just look who they're going up against. They're going against G2, the previous world champions. They're going against BDS, which everyone thinks is the best team, best team in the world. The Bex Dog, yeah. Shout out to the Bex Dog. And then Team Rec. Like I don't see Wildcard. I just can't see them winning against these guys in a best of 3. Any of them. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool they got there. They had a good showing in Japan. It's just like their group is so difficult for them, in my opinion.
Yeah, and these guys have come a long way. They were orgless for the longest time. Got an org, showed up in Japan in front of the biggest crowd. But yeah, they made it this far. They have nothing to lose. I hope they play like it. But I've heard from very close sources, BDS is having rough scrims too with the Lems. They shouldn't have dropped panics, is the word on the street, and it'll definitely show off this weekend. I think BDS kind of got blessed with one of the easier groups, although there is no easy group. But Rec is looking solid. Definitely looking solid in scrims, fixing their issues. And G2, I mean, they're G2. I don't see Pengu and Fabian getting grouped in a major. I just that doesn't process in my head.
In my predictions, I have G2 and Rec making it out because I also heard about the BDS. Like they got rid of panics. Like they were kind of struggling in Pro League. They did bring it back, but like it's just the whole aura of that team right now is kind of all over the place.
Yeah. I had G2 and BDS, but definitely changing from G2 to Rec after some things I've seen in the last
BDS to Rec.
seen and heard. Yeah. Yeah, Wildcard. I want Wildcard to do well. I like them underdogs. Like I want them to do well. I don't think they'll do well, but
Yeah,
prove me
Neo
wrong.
Fighter's a good friend of mine. I thought I didn't know what happened when he got dropped from Fnatic. I don't know if it was him or whatever. The team just didn't work out, or they just wanted Virtue. But I wanted to see him do well, and he did do well. They did do well in Japan, and I would love to see them do well. I just think their group is just kind of difficult for them for their inexperience.
Yeah. I do see G2 and Reciprocity making it out. I don't see BDS doing too hot. I personally think BDS is super overrated. That's just my opinion.
Yep.
Shaiko is a really good player, but I just don't see the hype around them. Like they just seem like another average EU
Pro League
PL
team.
to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And they just don't have the flair that Rogue has or
That
Empire
Navi
has.
came out with that first season.
or Navi. They just didn't hit me with that, and I'm like, whatever. I want to see him do well, but then I could care less. Same with Forz. Forz is the next powerhouse team, the next Russian powerhouse team,
in last place now.
Yeah.
and now look at them, they're struggling super hard. I never got that vibe from them that we did with Empire when they came out of CL, just tearing through everybody.
Absolute destruction.
And just and they haven't let up since. And they're still whatever they're doing over there, they need to keep on doing it because something about Empire is terrifying. I don't even want to imagine playing.
They just the thing is I've talked to coaches and analysts, and it's you can predict what Empire's doing, you can know what ops they're doing, you can know the setup, but it doesn't matter. They win the rounds. They know that you know what they're doing. because they do the same thing. They pick the same ops. They do the same stuff. So it's like they're just better. They're
But
literally
they're
just
so
better.
confident
Exactly.
when they're
They're
ones
just
that
better.
like look at Shepard. Shepard's the hard support player on that team, and I think he's one of the best players in all of Rainbow Six. Like I think
All around
Shepard's
players, yeah.
absolutely nasty. And then you have
He won MVP for the
Joystick.
Raleigh Major, so yeah.
Yeah, plus 30.
Yeah. And you have Joystick, you have Karzeka, you have Scythe, and then you have Dan. Like
If
Like,
any
I'm
of those
sorry, but,
guys,
like,
if
you're
any of
not,
those guys
like-
are in a 1v1, if any of those guys are in a
It's-
1v1, 1v2, I'm taking any of them. Literally any of them.
Yeah.
You know how it's
exactly.
like when you're on a team, it's like, oh shit, it's Zaku in a 1v3, he's not winning it. But it's like,
Yeah.
if any of these guys are in that kind of situation, it's like, holy shit, they could still win this round. That's just like
Yeah.
the dominance.
it's just absolutely just crazy.
All right, well,
Yeah, I think that's all the groups, yeah.
that's all the groups. There's something I wanted to bring up. I'm gonna call it my NA Challenger League pick 6. We have our bracket finally set. It's pretty interesting. I'm glad that ESL took the route of going back to a Swiss system with playoffs rather than last season that allowed me to get into Challenger League by just having a single double elimination bracket. So, I mean, at all these teams, the 6 I have to make it, run it back, obviously, is Phozzo's team. They got Shuttle, Vandal, Karn, and Abunai, all ex-pros except for Karn. He played Challenger League. He's familiar with comp. I think they're just a good all-around team, and they can beat any of these guys in this playoff bracket, and then hopefully, excel in Challenger League and into Pro League. I think EXG 2.0, they took a break for a couple qualifiers, I think, or just one qualifier because Bio went on a different team and now he's back. I think their experience together that's going to get them through. They got Mark, Mark, Bio, Prod,
Crusher.
Reed, and Crusher.
Yep.
That's public information now, right? Reed on there.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's on the
cool.
ESL
I didn't
roster.
want to like leak
Yeah.
that. So that I mean, we just saw Reed have the best first half of Pro League that a sub probably has ever had. So I think they could definitely make it. Obviously, PogChamp, Yardy's team is him, Jarvis, Brian, not Ghost,
Chala.
Trippin' and Chala. Yeah, I mean they're just once again ex-pros, know the game, know what it takes to win at the tier 2 level, and have played their fair share of best of 3s. Like the thing is that these teams that have been playing these qualifiers have not played best of 3s. You know what I mean? Do they have the stamina to get through the 3 maps? Do they have, the strats to play 3 maps? Most of these teams are like, okay, we'll ban these same maps because we only have to play 1. And it's like, well, now guess what? You got to play 3. So definitely those 3. I think Birds and Biceps, Blarn's team has a good chance of making it. I know that not a lot of people, they don't think they will, but I think that they can pull through their bracket that I'm looking at right now. I could put a picture on it on the screen. Is that they have not an easy bracket, but they can beat all these teams. They have beat all these teams. And I think with Avian and Blarn previously playing Challenger League, they'll be able to help their teammates get through. Who else should I got? That's 4. I don't know. It's like it's kind of like a toss-up. I can see Joe Esports with Ollie and Rethinking and all them. Those guys are just, they're really nasty. They're good players. They're young. They Clicks and Geo and once again they're on that like bottom half of the bracket, and they might have to play PogChamp eventually. But other than that, like they can get through that side. And then last, I think I'm gonna go with I don't know. It's like a toss up. I want to say OTF, but after hearing about who they got, Heavy hasn't played the game in a long time. I might go with Bruh, honestly. They look pretty strong. They came out 4th. They got Mex now, who's previous Challenger League. Leveron, previous Challenger League. I know Anthony, I don't think he's played Challenger League, but MGS.
Won CCS.
He won CCS.
Anthony and Jay are the 2 best players on that team by far.
Yeah, and it's
absolutely nasty.
It's about time they get in. They're good players. They deserve it. And that's honestly, that's my 6 making it.
Not a bad 6. I mean, I can't really give my top 6 because I'm very biased, but I do see PogChamp making it. I do see EXG 2.0 making it. I do personally see my team making it because obviously it's my
You're gonna
team.
want it, yeah. You guys
I
have won the
wanna
last
make
4
it.
qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, we won the fifth qual, and we didn't even really need to play it. We kind of just did it
Practice.
to do it. Yeah, just for practice, and we ended up winning it. We didn't expect to win it, but we ended up doing it. I do see Blarn making it. Their team's really solid. We played them in the last qual. OTF maybe. I do see Okami making a good run, and I do see Katsu making a good run. But other than that, it's up in the air for me on who's gonna make it.
Yeah, I think there's a 3 solidified teams, Run It Back, PogChamp, EXG, and then like literally any other 3, depending on
Like
who
a
they
lot of
play,
these
can make
teams,
it.
I'm gonna be honest with you, suck.
Yeah,
Like,
they really
they
do.
suck.
Right.
And like it shows like how inexperienced they are. Like they don't suck like individually, but like as a team, like
Team
it's
play,
bad.
yeah,
It's
trading, this and
bad.
that,
Like,
communication, all that.
like the teams like that you played in the qual, like that we played in the quals, they only wanted to play 2 maps, which was Consulate and Villa. You take them to a different map and they're lost.
Right.
You
or
ban
Clubhouse.
you ban an operator that like they're not used to and they don't know what to do.
That's
And,
like, yeah, last season
it's
when we played
embarrassing.
Challenger League quals, we banned Villa and Clubhouse every time. So like, or no, we banned Border and Club, because that's every team. Like you get on a team, right? It's like, what do you guys want to work on? Oh, let's do Clubhouse. That's like everyone's first map. So you ban that. You ban Border or Coastline or Villa. Well, we chose to ban Villa because we didn't like playing it, and like we played either Cons or Bank every time, and those people just don't have good good strats or good setups or good takes. They just don't know how to attack it. So like it really showed that people had no fucking clue what was going on besides those 2 maps.
Yeah, like this qual, it's like it's Consulate and Villa. Everyone loves playing. It boggles my mind. Like who wants like I do not want to play Villa in a qualifier. I don't care what anyone says. That's the worst map to play in a qualifier. It's like because everyone can just run around. Emberize is a thing. Like Yardi's team lost on Villa. I think once or twice.
Brain Dead Aimer.
Yeah.
I know that was you guys too, right?
Yeah, we lost. Yeah, my team lost a back company on Villa.
And that all comes down to BO1s just being
Too,
BO1.
yeah, and like that's like their best map. We took them to it. Like obviously we could have beat them, but like
Just a couple miscommunications. Yeah.
Teams get so blessed, and then we lost to Swamp Fox's team on Bank. We played a 4v5, and then look at them now. They're not even in the closed bracket.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Like we lost to them, but like
I
they didn't even make it. So it's
I
like,
think the most interesting, I'm not saying the best, not even close to the best, but the most interesting team here is definitely Okami. They've Benji, Flack, and
Kilo.
Prompted have been trying to get in CL, is the 3 of them, for 3 seasons, or over a year, because they tried on Taichu. Remember all that Taichu hype?
I do. And they lost to Zest team.
yeah, let's get it.
Oh, that's your team too, yeah.
Like
Two of them.
just abysmal. And I know Benji's a great player. I think Benji, I teamed with him and I pulled him out the slums of that team, and I do think he's a great player. I think that team, as trash as it's gonna sound, brought him down. And that's a real thing. You play with worse people, you're not gonna your skill's gonna decrease. And the same way, if you play with better people, you're probably gonna get better.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying, bro, like I could have hopped on EG and I would have been fucking amazing. Like people just don't see it.
In the gotcha position, yeah. That could have been Yuzaku.
Could have been Zaku, yep.
Yeah, I think that's the most interesting. I don't think they'll make it. They always choke. They always lose in these BO3s.
Yeah.
I think they make this team and then
they make it early too.
they make it early and they like do all these invite quals, major quals. They look so good.
And they get burnt out. That's 80 games.
And then once like the actual qualifiers that matter to you the most
come around, you can't make it, yeah.
And they end up getting the 11th seed when they should be a top 5 team.
They should.
But like they just burn themselves out so fast. Like the first qualifier they got 2 points. Second qualifier they got 10. Third they got 45. And then 5 and 5. Like they had one top 3 finish out of the 5 qualifiers.
And and
if they didn't get that top 3 finish,
they wouldn't be in it. They wouldn't even be
in close quals.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy to think about. Like look at Joey Sports. They did terrible. They won the 4th qual. They tied with us from the 4th qual. And now they're 3rd seed. Same with Bruh. Same with OTF.
OTF has been struggling since that first
won
qual.
The first qual. And after that, they end up getting 7, 8, 9 points combined. through the second qualifier and the fifth qualifier. Like, if they didn't win the first qual, they wouldn't be in close either. It's like, bring up the question is like, are they
ready for
not
this?
the
Are they ready
quals?
for this? Yeah.
Yeah, are they ready for it? Like, the players themselves may be ready. Like Glow, who was in Challenger League, Heavy, who was in Pro League, ZZ, who was in Pro League. But AIM and Timsy, you don't really know. Like, Timsy had a terrible performance at USN. Granted, he was kind of just thrown in, but like, he has no past experience. I don't even know who AIM is.
AIM
No offense to
played.
AIM.
No, he was a good player on Xbox. He's like super fucking nasty. He moved to PC for last season. They didn't end up making
Okay.
qualifiers. He played with ZZ. He's a good player. I mean, from what we played against, we lost to them once, and I think we beat him once. We've met
Okay.
in the qual, so he's a good player. But I mean, it's just, like you said, they didn't experience this. You ready for a best of 3 against a team full of pro league players?
Like a best of 3 is like, it's tiring. And you play 2 best of 3s in these qualifiers, so you better be ready to play 6 maps total.
Yeah.
Like, you could go 2-1 and then 2-1, and then if you lose, you go lose bracket, and you have to fight your way.
all the
You
way
have to
back.
play double your matches
yeah.
to make it back into Challenger League.
It's a gauntlet for sure.
To make Challenger League in these qualifiers, you have to win 2 games, 2 or 3 games. I think it's 2.
Well, it's
have to
top
win two
6, so
best of
it's
3s.
yeah.
And after that, it doesn't really matter if you win the whole thing or get knocked out after.
Yeah, because I don't even think the seeding matters. They just make it random anyway.
Exactly. So I guess we're gonna find out what teams are ready to show up or not.
Yeah, I mean, it should be interesting. I hope we can get them casted. I know that everyone has been complaining about casting. I think that they could definitely choose different teams, but at the same time, they want to see the teams that are hot. They want to see the teams that people are talking about. Now it doesn't matter because it's close quals. I'm sure every game, almost every game, will be streamed because we have a good amount of community casters here now.
A lot of them started popping up during these qualifiers, and it was kind of nice to see.
A lot of them suck.
Another thing
I
that
mean,
bothers me with these community casters is the quality of their stream is absolutely dog shit.
I mean, it's just like you can't, they get no money. They get no production, even for regular CL. They didn't get anything. They're doing this volunteering the same way that we are scrimming, in the same way that we are playing these qualifiers. They are just doing it for fun. So I personally, whether the quality of the stream is shit, whether the quality of the casting is shit, I don't care. I appreciate them coming to do it. Sometimes I think, like you said, they overstep their boundaries and they're talking about this and that when they don't really know like the inner workings, something we were talking about earlier. And could they say less? Could they just, be casting more than analyzing? Sure. But you know what? They're new. They're figuring it out. So I honestly appreciate all the casters that they do what they do. I mostly watch the streams with my volume off anyway, because I'm always playing something else. But I know that there has been some problems where casters are just kind of like shitting on one team as opposed to casting the game, which, it's like, there's a difference between casting and analysis, right? You can sit there and you can talk about everything that they're doing wrong, or you could sit there and just say what's happening. That's the difference. So I don't know, but no one's perfect, and they're still in the early stages of their career. They'll figure it out. Hell, I mean, I was watching Taro cast CCS, and he was doing a great job, but it's like there's things he could work on. Look at him now; he's casted 17 events since then. So everyone starts somewhere. Just got to give him a little bit of patience.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
And when I say they were bad, I meant in the fact that half of them don't know the rules, can't host right. And for example, I love Cookies, but like he had points on in our game. Like,
no way.
Yeah, it's just he's like, it's my first game. First round, I get a kill plus 100. I'm like, what the?
I think it was a game that we were playing Yardy's team, and the caster like messed up the rounds. Well, like 2 or 3 times in a row.
Yeah, something. Like
and
that.
I got so sick of it. I said, "Go ahead and go host. We're not playing the rest of this game out on stream."
Yeah,
right.
Like, this is taking way too long. Like,
and then you'll get a draw because you only have a certain amount of time, and like if you don't finish between
Luckily,
the time,
it was the last game of the night, so like we wouldn't get a draw.
Okay,
but
if it wasn't, imagine if it wasn't.
If it was, we would have got a draw. Like we would have gotten we would have both been like pretty pissed. Like, or well, one team would have been happy, one team would have been mad, whatever. But because one team obviously has to win.
Was winning, yeah.
But like I got so annoyed. I'm like, okay, no, this is not. We're not doing this. Like, we're gonna go ahead and play the rest of the game out. And then it ended up going like 7-7 or something like that.
I think they need to They need to be familiar with the rules, like the in-game rules, that make sure everything's all right. They have to, for like reconnects and stuff. The go-to should be you have to play this round out and we'll figure it out after, right? Like they should never stop around after it started, this and that. And then pretty much from there, it's fine. The actual casting, the stream, whatever it looks like, it's just whatever. The spectating, if it's bad, it's bad. They're doing it by themselves, and it's not easy.
Make sure
but
you have the rules right. That's
exactly.
biggest,
and if you don't know the
biggest thing that I
rules, if you don't know the rules,
Ask.
Yeah. You ask, or you just say play the round out. We'll talk about it after. And then obviously you get an admin, whoever's available, and they'll tell you if they should keep playing, who gets the round, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well said.
All right, so that concludes our first ever podcast episode. I want to thank everyone for watching. If you did watch all the way through, go ahead and go to the tweet that I tweeted this out on and reply with the letter Q if you got to the end of the video, so I know that you watched the whole thing. We're probably going to do this as much as we can when there's shit to talk about. I don't know if Phozzo's going to stay. I don't know if Yardy's going to stay, but I'm definitely here. I'll be here. I got nothing else to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If there's anything that you want us to talk about, not necessarily viewer questions, but just things you're curious about the, once again, those inside workings of those teams, feel free to DM or leave a comment, whatever, Twitter, figure it out. And once again, appreciate you guys for stopping by. Any closing thoughts, Yardy or Phozzo?
No, but I did want to add one thing. Like, if you have like a thing you want to talk about, like maybe it's not about a team, maybe it's about like a role, like a person's role, like what do they do, like breaking down the game in a sense of like a pro player perspective, rather than just like a casual like viewer perspective, or like how I guess like a caster breaks it down. We could do that as well,
right? And
that's like a big thing someone wants to talk
originally about. We were going to name the podcast the non-professional professionals because we've Yardy and Phozzo, they've been to Pro League, haven't played Pro League. Yardy's played LANs, I played Challenger League. I talked to a lot of pro players. We have that knowledge more so than someone who doesn't. Anything, Yardy? Or Drip? Sorry.
No. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to comment Q, and you may earn a follow back from Suzaku, he said.